Okay.
Yeah.
How you darn. Oh, we are on time, and on time means early. We're early today because
Yep.
we have to stop streaming we have basically 50 minutes from here on out to stream. Okay? And the reason being is because in 1 hour, we are dropping some massive news to our community
Huge.
on Patreon, and we want to be off stream, available for any questions that they have. It will also be released to our Discord. So a lot of you guys are already in our Discord. That's how you will get into today's mock draft. But we have some historic, I can't explain how historic this news is, and I'm really excited for people on our Patreon.
It's pretty big. It's pretty big. And first of all, that's what she said. Second of all, the news is going to be amazing.
Yes.
That's absolutely terrible. But yeah, we're pumped for it. I hope if you're part of the Discord or if you are part of our community on Patreon, that you come to that I guess Q&A that we're essentially going to have. So
yeah. In 1 hour, in 1 hour's time.
In 1 hour time, I mean,
the biggest news that we've ever dropped will be dropping on Patreon and Discord. So we're excited about it, and it's been something that's been in the works for months, and it's finally kind of happening, but the public will know a little bit later. So again, we're only going to stream for about 50 minutes. Do us a massive favor if you don't mind. Can you drop a like for us?
Like that?
Just a simple way to support the show, to help this channel grow. Appreciate all the likes, all the support thus far. So let's try and see if we can get to 100 likes on this stream with your help. I think we can get there. But we're doing a Dynasty rookie mock draft today. And, you know, I was thinking, Badake, beforehand, we talked about this. Let's not use a mock draft today for landing spots. Let's just say, hey, how do you feel about these prospects after the combine? That's what this mock draft will essentially be. So doesn't matter about landing spots at this point. Just how do you feel about these prospects post combine? And that's what we're rocking with today. So if people want to join, how can they do so, Badake?
Yeah, guys, all you have to do is join our Discord, link in the description below. Go there, go to Dynasty, go to Dynasty mock draft tab. That's exactly where I'll be posting the link. You can kind of see where I posted the link for this live stream. Once again, it is first come, first serve. We're only going to do one mock draft today. Usually we do two, but just one today. Make sure you drop a like. We go live Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, doing a mock draft, leading all the way up into, I guess, the season, until everyone else has finished their drafts, right? So come through, come hang, and first come, first serve, and it's all love.
Yeah, so I'm in. You have the link. When you join, feel free to send it out.
Yeah, I'll get number 5 here.
Okay.
And I'll take this. Once again, Dynasty, damn it, join our Discord. Go to Dynasty mock draft tab. This link is being sent out here in 3, 2. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. You want to know where this word comes from? It's a Greek word.
All right, so Macy's in. Macy got in real quick. Got the hacks on. We got Ace Boy, Zom, Mr. Whoop, Style,
Sue Whoop,
JCO, Dooney. Okay.
There it is.
So let's get on the same page. We're doing a 2023 Dynasty rookie draft. This is post combine. There's no mock draft for today. Just how do you feel about these players? That's how we're drafting. We're not using draft capital. This is basically just a let's see how the community has potentially changed their pulse on some players, and let's see what happens when there is no mock draft associated. So let's go ahead and start this bad boy off. I'm curious to see if there will be any overreactions or overcorrections, but let's have a look here. So at the 101, Bijan Robinson goes. No surprise there. Okay.
Jackson,
all right.
Smith, and Jigba.
Now, I love JSN. He is one of 2 can't miss prospects for me. I feel like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud answered a lot of questions, though, this weekend.
Yeah, it is. There goes Anthony Richardson. Okay, so this is kind of a little bit of concern. I'll make my pick here, and then actually I'll make my pick. You make your pick, and then we can talk about it if you would
Okay.
like. Just so it's easier.
We could talk about it right now. I mean, A-Rich goes at the 1-3.
I mean,
here we are.
It's
first quarterback off the board.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I think I get it. We understand what he did. He broke records in the combine. He's done his thing, but I think we kind of need to reel it in because we still don't know. I mean, we've been saying it. Zach's been saying it. I've been saying it. We knew what he was going to do. Maybe we didn't think he would break records. Maybe we didn't think he would do it at this level. Doesn't mean he's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah. Let's put some respect on his name. That was a historic combine testing performance, the best ever, a lot of people would say. So respect where respect is due. All I'm saying is that if just because you can run a 4.4 in pajamas, thanks for the sub, Stefan.
Appreciate you.
In pajamas, could people say in pajamas, right? Just because you can run a 4.4 in pajamas, I don't know. It doesn't mean that you're going to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. Now, his rushing upside, absolutely, it's there. He is an elite rushing quarterback, and hopefully that will give you a really safe floor as he develops those other areas. But I still feel like in a super flex league, I'm down for this in one quarterback, but in a super flex league, I'm still going Bryce and CJ over those two guys. I think Bryce answered a lot of questions that people had questions to. CJ Stroud performed really well. So yeah, I'm still going to go those two guys. Now looking at my rankings, there is one player left in my tier 2, and that is one Jahmyr Gibbs, who came in at 5'9" and a bit, as well as 199 pounds. My comp for Gibbs all this time, you guys may know if you've been with the channel, has not been Alvin Kamara. I just felt like he didn't have that kind of size. It's been DeAndre Swift and it's been Aaron Jones. So I feel really confident in that comp today more than I ever have. He's actually faster than those players. Look, I would say both on game speed and at the combine. So really excited for Jahmyr Gibbs, excited for what's ahead for him. I'm all in after this combine, even though I was already all in. But then we see Johnston go and Addison. Johnston did not run the 40. We were hoping, you and I talked about this. It felt like a business decision.
Yeah,
you know,
it definitely was. It definitely
no one's
was.
running fast right now. You can only hurt yourself at this point.
Yeah, and we saw how people hurt themselves by running the 40. What we saw from Jordan Addison, what we saw from Kayshawn Booty, even what we saw from Jalen Hyatt, who was supposed to be this guy running in the high 4.3s, right? Low 4.3, excuse me. That's where we thought he was going to be running. But after all those guys ran, Quinton was like, you know what? Maybe not. Jackson is not running. I don't need to run. Let me just showcase what I could do on the field. By doing the drills. So I think it was a smart move on him.
Agreed. Judge says Cam Newton couldn't understand the NFL languages or defense, but he beasted for a decade. That feels like a very broad statement. He was very successful from day one. If you're looking at Cam Newton versus Anthony Richardson, the difference is one had 12% higher completion percentage. We're not saying like 3% higher. Anthony Richardson was 53% of his passes completed, versus like 66 or something for Cam Newton. So I would say Anthony Richardson has better arm talent as far as like untapped potential than Cam Newton had, but Cam Newton was a more polished prospect coming out. I don't know what to say.
I would completely agree, and just to build off that, Cam Newton was at the first overall pick in the NFL draft, and I was saying this in another stream, or maybe in the video. I was saying I don't think any person's really had question marks of what Cam Newton throwing ability was and how he can be the quarterback. I think we all, at least in my opinion, the way I was perceived, the way it was perceived at the time was like Cam is the 101. He is the guy. He's going to come in and be your franchise quarterback. Anthony Richardson is not that guy. He has attributes to be that guy.
I wouldn't say he is.
But I would say it's not as solidified as Cam Newton right now, right? And I think that is the biggest difference. It is not a guaranteed, and at the time, Cam Newton wasn't a guarantee but it felt a lot safer drafting Cam Newton at the 101 there back in the day compared to what people are saying. People need to trade up and get Anthony Richardson, or people need to do this to get Anthony Richardson. I don't think teams should do that. I think you either let him fall or you trade back.
Yeah. Scary says Bryce and CJ are the safer picks, but if you want potential cheat code in fantasy, give me AR, which I understand, guys. All I will say is if people are drafting Anthony Richardson at the 101 ahead of these other quarterbacks, these are pivotal picks for your Superflex Dynasty team. These are pivotal picks. You do not want to miss on these picks in your Dynasty leagues. There is a high chance that Anthony Richardson still busts. Look, I love Anthony Richardson. I was leading the train last year, the hype train for Anthony Richardson mid-season. But you are taking on so much risk in a Superflex league to draft him that high. And in a one quarterback format, I understand, because you can get A-Rich probably mid-second round. Maybe not anymore, but there is way less risk in a one quarterback format, and I agree. But I just can't get on board with the risk. Other people out there are going to tell you that you should get on board with the risk, and that's totally okay. You know, you guys, make decisions for yourselves, but we didn't learn anything about Anthony Richardson processing the game today or at the combine. We didn't learn anything about his accuracy, his touch. If anything, we saw those concerns about his accuracy and his touch
at the combine.
We did learn that he was an absolute freak athlete, which we kind of already thought. We just didn't know it was that kind of athlete.
That level.
We see Will Levis at the 1-9. Addison had a really disappointing combine, but you still kind of have him in this territory, believing in the game speed and the film that's shown. Hyatt at the 111. I love Charbonnet here. Hyatt at the 111. What do you think? I was disappointed by Hyatt at the combine personally.
Yeah, we were both kind of disappointed, guys. A guy that was a lot of people in our comments in the chat here saying Jalen Hyatt easily gonna run, high 4.2s, low 4.3s. He ran a 4.44 or 4.4. Correct me if I'm
4.4
wrong.
flat.
But a guy we just didn't expect him to run, I guess, as quote unquote slow, right, compared to what we all thought he had. We thought he had that separation, that game breaking speed there for Jalen. Yeah. Not saying he still doesn't have it. We just didn't think it would be in the 4.4s. We more thought it to be in the low 4.3s at least.
Everyone who was a Jalen Hyatt truther, which we were not, was telling us, well, you better have him in your first round when he goes to the combine and runs a 4.27. We're like, okay, so this is the expectation: 4.27, 4.33 in that range, right? Now he tested well everywhere else, but his what's the calling card, right, was that he was going to run incredibly quick and then get overdrafted. We'll see what happens now, but I'm definitely taking Zay Flowers over Jalen Hyatt personally. I think Zay Flowers had a much better combine, and he's a much better prospect in my eyes. So Zay Flowers goes at the 112. Is there anything here in the first round you want to discuss before we get to the second round?
No, I think that's about it. I would say at the moment, this feels okay outside of Richardson. I think Sharby can go higher. Zay can go higher now based off of what we saw. But other than that, still based off draft capital. But everyone feels a little bit different about people.
Yeah. Do us a favor, guys. If you have yet to do so, drop a like for us. Help us get to that 100 like mark goal. That is our goal for the stream, 100 likes. With your help, I feel very confident that we can get there. So do us a favor and drop a like. Easiest way to support the stream. That just tells the algorithm, hey, I like this. Maybe other people will too. So do us a favor and drop that like. Let's get to this second round here and see what happens.
We'll continue it. One thing we haven't spoken about, by the way,
Derek Carr goes. Yep.
Derek Carr and now Geno Smith. Some of the biggest news: quarterbacks being re-signed or signed to a new team. How you feeling? What are you thinking? I know we kind of woken up, saw the news, and just went straight to recording. Maybe didn't have time to really think about it.
Well,
but how do you feel about those guys?
I've been kind of advocating for everyone to buy Chris Olave. I feel like he had just as good of a rookie season as Garrett Wilson, and and felt like they could not get worse at quarterback. I felt like he was a little bit disrespected. I think he's in the same tier as Garrett Wilson. So for him to get Derek Carr, is Derek Carr a superstar quarterback? No, but Derek Carr made Hunter Renfrow top 12. Okay? Like, Chris Olave, him having a competent quarterback is going to do absolute wonders for his fantasy year this year. So if you bought that little disrespect dip, if you will, maybe I'll call it, then you should feel really good right now. I have so much Olave stock, so I'm loving it. For Derek Carr, it's okay. You know, the Saints just don't want to hit the reset button, I guess. They just want to keep being mid-city.
Yeah, if I'm a Saints fan, I'm really upset. I was hoping. I mean, to be fair, they don't have a first, do they?
They do, but it's back into the first.
Back in the first.
For Sean Payton trade. By the way, Kayshon Boutte at the 2-4. I don't want to switch directions just yet, but go ahead and finish your thoughts and we'll talk about him because, yeah, lots to talk about.
No, yeah, definitely lots to talk about. But yeah, it's interesting with Derek Carr to the Saints, and I'm excited to see him go with Olave. Rashid Shaheed, I think, also very interesting now. A little bit more interesting, and maybe if they do invest in him a little bit more. I'm happy with Alvin and everything as well, if he is going to stay there or if they're going to invest in another guy. So I'm happy with him. I'm going to go here
just
at the
just before you make your decision.
Yep.
Let's talk about Kayshon Boutte, and then we'll talk about our two picks because we have some time here to kind of play around with. Okay.
Sure.
There's not a bigger fall for me because of the combine than Kayshon Boutte. If you guys were like me and Badake kind of defending Kayshon Boutte, it was, hey, look what he did at, when he was healthy, when it was the old coaching staff, the incredible numbers that he put up, with incredible talent all around him like Terrace Marshall at LSU, just raving about the talent, raving about the player. Well, we can't fall back on production now because it was an awful year and he was outperformed by Malik Neighbors. We can't fall back on he's a good guy and a hard worker because off-field issues are his biggest concern. And we can't fall back on, well, he tested incredibly because you and I anticipated that he would test really well.
Really good.
That did not happen. I mean, even he himself said he was expecting to be in the 4.3s. Running a 4.5, I feel David Bell vibes right now.
Yeah, you said that.
To a worse extent. I think this is going to really drop his draft capital in the real NFL draft. And if he's not drafted in the first 2 rounds, I can't take him early second round anymore. In fact, right now, without knowing where he's going to go, he's now slipped into the 3rd round for me in my rankings. Early 3rd, he's at the 302. But we don't want to overreact. But the combine was supposed to be this pivotal stake in the ground for Boutte to be like, yeah, I'm that dude. Don't forget. And we didn't see that. I feel like he was one of those players who needed to have a really good combine.
Yeah, he definitely was a guy that needed to have a good combine. It is disappointing. I said this in a video that's going to be releasing when we did a new top.
That'll
top
be releasing
30.
tomorrow. Your morning tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, your tomorrow morning. So for me, I don't want to kind of what you're saying. Let's not overreact, but at the same time, we do have enough information to potentially be there, right? But I still believe in the talent and what he can do. It's difficult to kind of gauge with Kayshon. I still believe he can get a second round draft capital. Just all depends on who is going to take that.
I'm struggling to see it, man. I'm struggling. We needed a good testing, but let's find out. You went Sean Tucker. I went Rashawn Johnson. Talked about Boutte being my biggest faller. My biggest riser had to be Rashawn Johnson. Did not expect his 10-yard split to look like that. He had the same 10-yard split as Bijan Robinson. He had a better 10-yard split than Jahmyr Gibbs. He absolutely, for his size, balled out at the combine, and I think he impressed a lot of people. I would not be surprised if he gets Brian Robinson type capital, if not higher, and gets a similar role on an NFL team. I mean, even on the stream, the combine stream, we were hearing them say he's a starter in the NFL. So Rashawn Johnson, a player I liked, but I didn't see that kind of burst on film. Regardless, I think the NFL is going to overdraft him now, and I like him here at the 2.6. But you took Sean Tucker at the 2.5.
Yeah, Sean Tucker at the 2.5. Look, he's not a massive riser or faller. I think it's a bit disappointing that we didn't see his 40 time at the combine. We were hoping and expecting to see how he was going to be, because everyone said he has this speed, right? He has this speed. What's his 40 going to be? And we weren't able to see that. He does come in at 5'9", 207, but hey, I don't think he is somebody that has fallen tremendously. I think
Sure.
you kind of saw with a lot of these running backs not taking the time to do the 40, because we even said this on the live stream. These running backs know something that we don't know. I mean, Izzy didn't run. Obviously, some of these guys were in different situations.
Well, they had
Izzy
injuries,
didn't run.
yeah.
Zach Evans didn't run. Deuce
Injured.
Vaughn, who was there, didn't run. That
Yeah.
like his 40 time could have helped him. He could have been one of the fastest guys potentially, or
Sure.
the second fastest, right? Like, why didn't all these guys that were there not run? And I think Sean Tucker was one of those guys, but I still believe in his talent, still believe in what he can do here. So,
or
he goes to
what
the
could have
5.
happened with Deuce Vaughn is the Tank Dell effect, where he looks so fast because his legs are so small, and then you put it on a clock and you're like, oh, I mean, that was okay, you know?
Exactly. So I think a lot of these, I think for every single position, we saw that this year. Very, very, what's the word? They weren't hiding that they weren't going to run, and they were okay with that.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Okay, Tajay Spears goes at the 2.7. Decent combine. Again, I don't understand why Tajay didn't run. I wanted to see what he would have been at. Dalton Kincaid, who did not test, but we love the prospect. He probably rises as a effect from the cause and effect, right? As an effect from other players not really testing. Zach Evans at the 2.9. I still like Zach Evans. I am more concerned today than I was before. Weighed in at 202 pounds. Don't understand how. I have a theory about that. You guys will see that in tomorrow's video. Kendre Miller at the 210. Darnell Washington, who absolutely balled out at the combine here at the 211.
Crazy.
I like it. He did rise up my rankings. Not this high. There's still other players I'm going to take over him, but he definitely rised up my rankings. How about you?
Yeah, Darnell Washington, unfortunately, didn't rise the rankings, but I am not sleeping on Darnell in the way he can move anymore. At first, I was really concerned about his movement. I was concerned about his weight. You know, the first thing every time we talked about Darnell was that he's just an extra offensive lineman. He looks slow. He's not. I don't see how he's going to be this guy. And maybe he can be this guy now with the speed that he put. 6'7", 264 pounds. He had a 4.6, 440-yard dash. During the live stream, it was like, oh, Darnell gets, mid to high set 4.7s. We'll be okay with that. He ran a 4.64. He had a 1.57 10-yard split, which I think was really good for a tight end. So once again, not enough to rise in the rankings according to our database, but doesn't mean he's not a guy that I am sleeping on and I'm just forgetting about.
Yeah. No, I'm look, the two positions that the combine matters the most for, running back and tight end. I would say in that order for what we do for Dynasty football. And he couldn't have performed better. He really couldn't have performed better. He definitely put himself on the map. All right, as we get into round 3, I'm just looking at the time. We have to stop streaming at 50, so we actually have a lot of time. I reckon we can do a quick fire second draft if we hit 100 likes. So if we hit 100 likes, we're going to do a quick fire second draft. We'll get a whole new group of people in here. So go ahead and do us a favor. Drop a like if you want to see a new rookie mock right after this one. Let's get to that 100 like mark together and we will pop that off for you. All right, heading into the third round. Let's see what happens.
How do you feel about I guess the other quarterback here, Geno, coming back, staying here with the Seahawks, getting a contract extension? I guess the overall thing, we do like it. I'm assuming from what we saw last year, with Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. If you're one of those guys, you have those guys on your team. You're saying, okay, I'm okay with that. I didn't want maybe another quarterback carousel to come in, but Geno staying.
Yeah, this is ideal.
Let's go, Geno.
Yeah, this is ideal for Geno Smith. Ideal for DK Metcalf. Ideal for Lockett. Ideal for Ken Walker. It's ideal for everyone there. Not ideal for people who wanted one of these rookies to go to the Seahawks. I don't see them spending that pick on a quarterback now. I thought maybe if it was like a 1-year deal, they would consider doing that. But I think they're gonna build around Geno for now. Yeah, so
I'm interested to see what they do. Like, Steven, let us know. Like, now that they're having Geno, well, you have a top 8 pick, right?
yeah.
Where do you go? Do you go defensive? Do you need corners? Do you need more like a D lineman, offensive lineman, or do you think you'll get a weapon there? I mean, I doubt you get a Bijan because you have Kenneth Walker. You still have DK. I mean, do you go JSN that high? Probably not, right? So interested to see how everyone thinks about that. Mims, Rice, Mims, Xavier Hutchinson. I was really hoping Mims will fall to me. Guy that I really like there.
Just before you make your pick, I just want to address this comment real quick. It's funny to hear that. Sure. I just listened to Underdog guys say that athleticism doesn't really matter for running backs. Average athlete is sufficient. Respect Underdog. Love what they do. I mean, we've even partnered with them. For what we do, I personally think that running backs who stand out impact their draft capital. Running backs who stand out as good athletes, they rise. Running backs who stand out the opposite way as bad athletes. Talk about Kyron Williams before the combine last year. RB3, RB4. You could say the same for Spiller. People thought he was a good technical running back, but he wasn't the athlete that people wanted him to be. So personally, I would say that the combine impacts running backs draft capital more than any other event or any other position. So I respect where they're coming from. But we see running backs rise and fall from combine and from testing a lot. I feel like every year you can point to a guy. So I respect where they're coming from. And keep in mind, we take we don't take the combine as truth or like Bible, but we do try and project how NFL teams will change their draft boards, right? Because draft capital, as we know, is one of the biggest factors for drafting running backs in dynasty football. So yeah, don't know the context, but I can respect where they're coming from.
Yeah, would completely agree. I'll second that. Just think about it. Last year, Kyron Williams is going at the turn, 111, 112, maybe like in that gap, right? 111 to the 204 after the draft, or after the combine, excuse me. He was falling to the end of the second, middle of the third, and then with the draft capital, it was just like completely gone. So you see that drop in every single level, especially in the fantasy perspective.
Agreed. Don't want you to get auto picked.
I have a queue, so I take Chase Brown there.
Okay. Okay, so Chase Brown, you want to talk about him? Really good combine.
Yeah, really good combine. Chase Brown 209, a guy that I was really high on. Runs a 4.43.
Hey, thank you so much for the super chat there, Dogzo. We'll get to that 1 second after he.
Thank you so much, man.
Talks about Chase Brown.
We appreciate you. Yeah, Chase Brown, a guy that.
And thanks for the sub, young team. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. He rises up my rankings here. I already had him as a sleeper, a guy that I believe that was going to be somebody relevant. Let me remind you, he led this team in Illinois, with Illinois 303 attempts. He's a true workhorse, and I know the size was a concern, which I guess you can probably say may still be a concern for some people out there coming in at 209, but him putting in more weight when he gets onto a team, maybe getting to the 215, 212 range, I feel really comfortable there with Chase Brown. I'm really excited to see where he goes in the NFL draft. So don't sleep on Chase Brown. Downtown
Chase Brown. I would agree. I think he tested really well. Came in at a size that we like. And again, just respecting everyone's opinions. But again, I think Chase Brown probably moved up an entire round because of the combine. So I don't know. I do think it matters. And here I am sitting, and a running back that I love, my running back sleeper of the year. I keep talking about him. He's available to me at the 3.6. Did not test. I hate that he didn't test. I wanted to see him. Israel Abanikanda. So can't really move him down. Can't really move him up. But what's good is he had the exact size that we were looking for. 5'10", 216 pounds. Perfect. That's a chef's kiss. That's exactly what we were wanting to see. No surprises there. So I'll take him here at the 3.6. And let's hope he does something at the pro day. Dogzo, thank you so much for your super chat, man. Appreciate you. Man. Says, I might be crazy. I draft 101 A Rich, 102 Stroud, Bryce, 104 Bijan, Flame me. But I think they're all generational quarterbacks. And looking back, I wouldn't take JT over Burrow, Herbert, and maybe Tua. I mean,
Wow, that is
to each their own.
that,
You know.
yeah, that's big. I think we both say we wouldn't do that, but like you said, to each their own. And maybe in a year, 2 years from now, we're thinking about A Rich, and we took him at, over Bryce and CJ, and said, haha, you shouldn't have done that. Or
Or the
I'm
opposite.
glad I'd done that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad I'd done that, or I shouldn't have done that. So many different ways things can go, but let's see what happens. There's so much time, so much can happen in the NFL draft. I'm excited.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I know for sure, and I'm still sticking to my guns on this. I know for sure that Bijan is the best offensive player in this draft. I know that he is one of, let's say, 4 or 5 blue chip players in this draft. I know that based off testing, film, analytics, he is the best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley. And I know that Bijan Robinson is going to hit. The only reason he doesn't hit is if there's some career-ending injury, right? Otherwise, Bijan Robinson is hitting. He is absolutely hitting for you at the 1-1. I don't know about that you could say that for any of these quarterbacks. We love them, but every quarterback could be a bust. Every single quarterback, no matter how much we like them, could be a bust. So I'm still going the guaranteed guy with Bijan. And maybe that's what Keywall did here with JSN. He says, I know JSN's going to hit. But I absolutely respect everyone's opinions. Dogzo says, just had to get it out there. And I love it. I mean, we're going to see a lot of crazy things happen in your rookie drafts. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I love that you brought that take. We might not agree with it, but I totally get it. I totally get it. Hopefully you don't end up with Zach Wilson, in the draft where, you could have had Travis Etienne, for example.
Right, exactly.
So
exactly.
There's two sides to every coin.
There is
every
that
coin, not corn. Well, there's 2 sides to every coin. There's actually 4 sides to every coin.
But even to kind of build off that, we have to take everything that we see at the combine with a grain of salt. And I wrote an article which you'll see here very soon, maybe for some people, and you will find out how and where potentially.
Hey, thanks for the super chat, JGM. Go ahead, Badake.
Thank you so much. And I was just like, we need to take this combine with a grain of salt. People are jumping in and getting all their rankings a bit skewed just based off what somebody's done in the NFL combine. So many people have performed in the combine at such a great level. So many people have had crazy collegiate careers, and people are saying there's no way that this person is going to bust up in the next level, right? And we've seen that so many times that we just need to be very, very careful. Not saying that's where Anthony Richardson is going. I'm saying more of like, he could be one of those guys. Bryce can be one of those guys. CJ can be one of those guys. But we just need to be very careful on this, especially with someone like Anthony Richardson, who is getting all the hype right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the NFL misses on quarterbacks every year, so you're going to miss on quarterbacks every year too. So, JGM, thanks for the super chat, man. Appreciate that. He says, offer Jahan Dotson for 109, 1 quarterback. I like Zay and Downs, but can't guarantee they're there. I love that. I'll definitely take Dotson over the 109 this year, for sure.
Agreed.
And a 1 quarterback, no doubt. All right, so we saw Keaton Mitchell go off the board. Keaton Mitchell, good combine, but man, he is tiny. He is a tiny guy.
He is tiny.
What did he come in at officially?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up.
I think it was 5'9", 179 pounds. 5'8", 179. So probably going to be
Devin
a little bit limited.
Devin's bigger than that.
Yeah.
Devin came in at like 5. What was he? He was 188. Devin was 5'8", 188.
Devin who? Sorry. A-Chain.
Devin
Sorry.
A-Chain.
My bad.
Devin A-Chain. Sorry. Yeah. So it's very interesting with Keaton.
Then Tillman went off the board. I think Tillman had a pretty good combine. Deuce Vaughn goes off the board. So let's see what happens here at the end of the draft. David says, oh boy, Richardson first quarterback, the combine, blinding people once again. Hate to see it.
Blinding people. Yeah.
We've been talking about it, man. It is interesting. Look, it's not something that we would do, but it's definitely going to happen in your leagues. And there's people in this chat, probably a good percentage of them, who are saying, I'll take the upside. I don't care about the risk. All I'm saying is in a super flex league, picking him that high, man, it would really hurt your team if it didn't work out.
I know a lot of people would say, okay, what if he did get a top? And I asked this to Zach. I said, Anthony Richardson goes in the top 5. Are you still taking him? You know?
Do you mean am I now taking him 101?
Are you taking if he goes 101 in the NFL draft? Maybe that's a bit exact. If he goes anywhere in the top 5, the top 6 in the NFL draft, are you taking him over Bryce Young or CJ?
No, because I fully anticipate that there will be 4 quarterbacks in the first 10 picks.
Exactly. So many other and I think that's the hard part, right?
It's not like Anthony Richardson goes 101 and now Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Will Levis are 2nd-round picks. You know what I mean? Like that is not what's going to happen. So
yeah, and I think a lot of people love the idea. Is like, okay, if Anthony Richardson goes, how about let me reframe the question. If Anthony Richardson goes ahead of Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, and a team trades up for him with significant capital like a Trey Lance,
no,
still no, right? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Just wanted to clarify so everyone understood.
Because I know that other
at.
teams still had as much commitment with the pick they use in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he will still get. Okay, if Anthony Richardson bombs in the first 3 years, a team's probably going to move on from him, even if they trade up and spend capital, right? I mean, we can say the same about anyone in these top 5, but no. And I honestly hate that I'm the Anthony Richardson like hater now.
Believer.
I genuinely hate it. You know this, Badake. Last year, mid-season of the college football season, I was leading the Anthony Richardson hype train. I just can't get to this place where people are now. I hate that. This is where I am.
I don't think you are a hater now. You know, I think we're both realists in the situation, right? I mean, we need to. Anthony Richardson has all the tools, attributes to be a fantastic quarterback in the NFL. He's only played 13 games in his whole career. Probably less than 20 games in his whole college career. He's struggled. He's continuously struggled with touch, continuously struggled with ball placement. I'm not saying the only thing, but one thing that truly stands out for Anthony Richardson is his ability to get out of the pocket, his ability to use his legs, his ability to be such a threat, which is just as amazing. But being that guy, you can be a bust just as much as you can be a threat.
Simon, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat, man.
Thank you so much, man.
You know, just quickly on that to wrap that up. Look, if Anthony Richardson goes to the Colts, I'm not loving it so much. But let's say he goes to a system that they can build around him like Lamar Jackson. I'm thinking the Falcons is perfect. If Anthony Richardson goes to the Falcons, I already have him in the same tier as CJ and Bryce. But I'm not saying I would take him over if he went to the Falcons, but like that is where I want him to go. And then I'll start understanding a little bit more of the hype. But a team needs to build around him like Baltimore built around Lamar Jackson, or that's the kind of offensive, game plan they need to put together. But
yeah, I definitely get it. I would just say I think any quarterback to the Colts right now is amazing, even Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
I guess I'm struggling because I've never seen them build an offense that would suit his skill set, but that doesn't mean that they won't.
Right.
So
completely understand what you're saying.
But yeah, I hate it, man. I was all aboard the Anthony Richardson train. I was the conductor. I was leading the train, the hype train, and I can't get there right now anymore.
TD trying to get to you, brother. He said you just need somebody to replace Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, honestly. The overreaction on Richardson is real. Definitely taking Bryce and CJ over him. Daniel says, how is someone with a 53 completion percentage rate quarterback one? This is Superflex Benjamin. Get in the hype train, LT Gray says. I fully believe Anthony Richardson will be a top 5 pick. Yeah, we've thought he's been locked in at top 10. David says, maybe because I'm a Gator fan and that blinds me. I was so excited for Richardson. And man, did he look bigger. Did he look like a bigger Trayvon Harris? Is that Trayon? I don't know who Trayon Harris is. Maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe I'm having a brain fart.
Right.
John says, is it crazy to think that A-Chain might slip into the 3rd round of fantasy drafts given his height/weight? Dude, honestly, I don't know about you guys. I'll open the floor, but I was pleasantly surprised. we talked about
A-Chain.
we talked about how he might weigh in. We thought he might get 180. So for him to come in at 188, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but personally, I was very happy with his measurements.
And still had a decent 40 time at 4.32. You know, we said that, okay. We said if Devin A-Chain comes in and puts on 10 pounds, he's going to be significantly slower. And maybe this significantly slower is very, very small, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe he could have ran a 4.29, but he ran a 4.32 and put on an extra 15 or 10 pounds, and he did well.
Yeah.
So there's definitely
You're on the clock here, by the way.
I have a
Okay.
I have a
So
guy.
Tigray, thanks so much for being a member for 5 months, man. He says AR-15, go brat. Get on the hype train, you jabroni. Also, dab on him, Andy.
Dab on him.
Love that from Tigray. I love that.
That's awesome.
Oh, Simon, I'm so sorry, man. He says, could you answer my super chat? Dude, I'm sorry. That's my bad. We always try and answer those straight away.
We apologize.
I think
we got so caught up in the AR chat.
Yeah. Do I trade Zeke, Clyde, Ayuk for Javonte in a 2024 second?
Zeke, Clyde, Ayuk for Javonte in a 24 seconds.
I'll probably take the Javonte in a 24 second side. As much as I love Ayuk, but I don't think Clyde or Zeke are going to get you anywhere near a second round pick. I think that's
completely agree.
I think that's where the difference is.
Even though Javonte, the injury and is still very in question, I think you can still get 111, 110 in that area if somebody does want to take a chance with Javonte at the moment. So Javonte in a 24 second for us, man. So thank you so much for the super chat, and sorry that we completely forgot to answer it.
Hey guys, 172 people watching the stream. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. You probably like Dynasty just as much as us. You're probably one of those crazy people who watches Dynasty content all the time, consumes the NFL draft every day. Do us a massive favor. Easy way to support the show. Drop a like. That just tells the algorithm, hey, I like these guys, and maybe other people will. It helps grow the channel. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us today. I'm looking at my rankings here, Badake, and I'm trying to see the best available player to me at the 4-6. Can I ask, has Parker Washington been drafted?
No, he hasn't.
Ooh, he could be a nice little steal. Bryce Ford-Wheaton was another one I was going to consider there. He had a ridiculous combine, Bryce Ford-Wheaton. Okay, and Hendon and Tanner McGee are gone. Tanner McGee's still available.
Tanner McGee is still there.
All right, I was going to take one of those two. I guess I'll take Parker Washington here.
Parker Washington.
He came in... We thought he was according to websites, he was 215, but he came in at
Was it 209 or something like that?
I mean, a much more reasonable weight at 204. 204.
204, yeah.
5'10", 204.
Ooh, Zach Kuntz.
I love that.
Talk it up.
Kuntz dominated. But one thing we wanted to highlight on Parker Washington was his hand size. He had some massive hands, and we saw that on film. He does not drop many balls. Great contested catcher, good ball skills. Zach Kuntz off the board, who had, outside of Darnell Washington, probably the most impressive day from a tight end. 6'7", and the guy was running, what was it, like a 4? Was it a 4? Did he get the 4.5s? I can't remember.
I think so. I think I'll pull it up here. I'll see if I can get his 40 time.
At 6'7".
He ran a 4.55.
4.55. That's so stupid. 40. Like, oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely
that's ridiculous.
Crazy. But yeah, another guy on the map here, Zach Kuntz out of Old Dominion. Let's see where he goes. It's very exciting to see you know, these guys put their name on the map there.
Exactly. And this is what we talk about, where like the combine hopefully just puts your name on the map. It's not everything, but hopefully, you put your name on the map and gain some respect. And that's exactly what Zach Kuntz did. What's up, fellas? Mighty Booch says, excited for you and the announcement. Yes, we have an announcement coming out to our Patreon members and our Discord community here in 17 minutes. We're very excited about it. Literally the biggest news we've ever had. And we're very, very excited to announce that to our Discord community and our Patreon. So really excited.
We're pumped about it.
And I hope that you guys are too. So there will be a video explaining everything, and we will also be going live to just our Patreon community at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight to answer any of their questions, but we're very, very excited. Is Xavier Hutchinson still your wide receiver 3/4? Scary. There's a video coming out tomorrow where we rank the top 30 players in the class now, and you guys will see that very, very soon.
Yeah. I just want to touch on my guy that I drafted here at the 4.5, Kenny McIntosh. Didn't have the best combine, ran a 4.62. Oddly enough, it does seem bad, but for me, I'm not a massive. I don't think it necessarily matters for Kenny. I don't think that's his strength, was the speed, in my opinion.
I agree.
I think it was just more the pass catching ability, and I think that's still there. He still showed that. Was the speed is very underwhelming, 100%. The speed is disappointing in the way he did produce, but coming in at 6 foot 204, I'm okay with. Imagine getting Kenny and he gets a 3rd round draft capital. I still think he can get a 3rd round draft capital personally. So getting him here at the 4.5 is exciting.
I have to be honest. He was one of my biggest disappointments. You're right. The speed on film doesn't show, so that's not surprising. But he has a similar skill set to one Kyron Williams. And Kyron Williams last year ran a 4.65 and he plummeted.
Yeah.
I just feel like we could see NFL teams kind of put him down their board. I don't know. I could be wrong. In the 4th round, I get it. We're talking about the 4th round. So I'm not saying it's a bad pick at all. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying I think that the NFL, in fact, he's currently at my 310, so I'm probably too high on him. But I think the NFL,
fair.
I think it's going to matter to them. But, yeah. So I probably overestimated how much time we have. I'm so sorry, but why don't we spend about 5 minutes doing a Q&A here and try and answer you guys' questions? Because we have a huge announcement coming out in 15 minutes, we don't want to be live. We want people to be able to watch that announcement and read it and then, ask any questions on our live stream for our Patreon members only later. But what I will do is we'll take about 5-10 minutes here and answer any of your questions. Do us a massive favor. All we ask in return is that you help us by telling the algorithm that you like what we're doing. Drop a like on the video. Easy way to support the channel, to support what we do, and to help the channel grow. I just want to say a massive thanks to everyone who has supported us from day one. We started this channel about 13, 14 months ago now, and the growth has been awesome. The community has been awesome. And even though we say some dumb things sometimes and we're not always right, we still enjoy you guys being a part of it. I mean,
absolutely.
We've talked about it before, but I was out on Jalen Hurts last year. We're not going to get everything right, but we do enjoy the community. We do enjoy everyone being a part of it. How much did the combine hurt Boutte? For me, drastically. I think it drastically hurt him. I'm thinking about what happened to David Bell last year. Same type of vibes. We didn't have the production to hold on to. We didn't have that he was a good guy or off field. He's a leader. We didn't have that to hold on to. What we really wanted to hold on to was that he was an incredible athlete, and he just didn't test that way. So, yeah.
Sorry, I was just kind of going through some of these comments. But yeah, Booty. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm really hoping he at least. I still think he can get at least 2nd round, but what like Zach said, it did definitely hurt him significantly. So if he can get the 2nd round, and with that performance, I think that tells you how much a team does believe in him.
Yeah. Jason's running a 40 at his pro day, apparently. Percy, what player hurt your stock the most? For me, it would be Boutte. Badake, do you have anyone that stands out?
It probably would be Boutte and. Just Boutte, I would say Zach Evans, another guy.
Okay.
Out there coming in at 202, didn't run the 40. So, but at the same time, a lot of things didn't pan out. Like,
let's talk about him real quick. I will say he fell in my rankings not because of anything that he did negatively, but because of how well others performed. So when we get more information, hopefully from his pro day, he could absolutely shoot back up to like early 2nd round for me. But right now I have Rashawn Johnson ahead of him.
Same.
So look, for me, him being at 202 was very surprising, and it doesn't make sense. I have a theory, which we will talk about on tomorrow's video, and I think he's one of those guys who could potentially come back up the rankings. Again, these rankings are fluid. As information comes out, yes, they will be changing. until we get that draft capital. Dogso says, I feel like Badake just didn't care. Trying to answer as many questions as we can here. Kyle says, question, where would you rank Blake Corum if he was in this class now? Keep in mind, Zach Charbonnet most likely transferred because Corum was better. I probably would have had Corum like RB 6 or 7, just being honest.
Yeah, I would say they're like, I would say
good class.
From 5 to 8, I would say, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that just feels really comfortable based on who's there in my tier at the moment.
But also, we can't really answer this question very well, Kyle, because when we found out he was going back to Michigan, we didn't scout him fully, and we didn't put him through like our process, if you will, of scouting and analytics. Trying to keep up. Butake's best football was played in high school. Man, I hate it, but I think it might be true. Offensive Rookie of the Year of 2023, Bijan. Got to be, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
Michael says, in Superflex rookie drafts, does it make any sense to consider drafting JSN over Stroud and Young at 103? You can, do that if you want. We probably are still going to take a quarterback. What I would advise is if you are at the 103, you want to find, hopefully, ideally, someone at the 104 who needs a quarterback. Trade back, get a little bit extra. But, there's no perfect trade there.
Yeah, all about trading back there.
Benjamin says, did Jackson impress that much at the Combine, or is this where you've seen him for some time? Just got in. Welcome in, my man.
Hey, appreciate you.
I would say he definitely impressed, no doubt. I still have Bryce and CJ slightly ahead of him, but he absolutely impressed. He's locked in as my 104 right now.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Jackson, video, it felt like he did nothing, but he surpassed everything that we were expecting as well at the same time. So it's a weird feeling.
Here's the thing, though. I will say we got to give respect when respect is due. Outside the 40, he dominated. Like, he didn't do 100%. The 40, but outside of that, he dominated the entire Combine. So
he looked like one of the smoothest guys out there. Every drill he was doing, you saw the confidence, you saw how he was running the routes, and he was doing his thing. So maybe that was just the way I was feeling. But
okay, that's fair. T-Gray, thanks so much for the super chat, man. This might be one of the last questions we answer tonight, unless there's any other super chats that just pop in that need to be answered. Stroud underperformed to me. No clue what the announcers were watching, but he looked worse on the deep ball than Richardson and comparable in the mid. Okay, definitely respect the opinion there.
That's sure. I would personally say, if anything, Stroud kind of answered questions. People didn't think he had the arm strength. People didn't think he can actually, send that ball that deep potentially. And obviously, yes, it's the Combine, so you have to take it with a grain of salt. But you saw him throw that ball with ease. In my opinion, 40, 50 yards. Anthony Richardson was significantly easier the way he was throwing it. But CJ, I think, still made those throws look a lot easier. I thought the accuracy was there. I thought the way he was everything he was doing looked pretty great. And maybe that's my bias because he's my QB1, but that's where I land with CJ.
Thanks for the super chat, Tigre. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
I enjoyed his Combine, CJ. That's what I'll just say that. TD, Deneric Prince, any thoughts? No thoughts. Haven't scouted him, and only will if the NFL draft goes his way and gets top 4, draft capital. He excelled in tests and translate. Yeah, exactly. JSN.
Yeah, he ran a 4.41.
No, sorry. We're Prince. Zachary's talking about JSN here.
Okay, sorry.
He excelled in all the tests that translate to how he wins on the field. Exactly. Yeah. I feel like JSN's a better prospect than CD. Ooh. Don't say it too loud.
Oh, be careful.
I'll say this. There are, after the testing numbers have been updated, there are 2 players that I have an elite grade on this year. You guys know who it is. Bijan and JSN. But, guys, we're going to stop the stream here. Do us a favor. Drop a like. Easy way to support the show. 160 people watching, 114 likes. You guys are incredible. Yeah. Let's try and get to that 160 mark as we end the stream here. We have the biggest announcement we've ever made, in 7 minutes, dropping on our Patreon. So everyone on Patreon will have access to it, as well as in our Discord.
So
we've been working on this for months. never ever had bigger news than this. Really excited about it, and cannot be more excited to talk to those people on Patreon at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. We will be doing a private live stream to answer any of your questions. You'll find that link on Patreon. And anyway, huge love, guys. Really, really appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Excited to tell the public here, soon as well. But as for right now, we're going to drop it to our Discord and Patreon community. So huge love. See you in five minutes. We are dropping the announcement. Drop a like on your way out. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Love.